Dr. Bijoy John, welcome to the conversation today.
Thanks, John. Thanks for having me on the show.
It is a great pleasure to be with you. You're joining us from Nashville. I'm south of Salt Lake City in Utah. And today we're going to be talking about sleep quality and how sleep really impacts all aspects of our lives. We're going to hone in specifically on productivity, energy, and really how it impacts us in those facets and our overall happiness. And how we show up to work and such, but really, it really does impact all aspects of our lives. And so, I think this will be a really important and fun conversation. As we get started, I wanted to share Dr. John's bio with everybody. Dr. Bijoy John is a board certified physician and practicing sleep specialist with more than 25 years of experience. He has seen firsthand the struggle many have with sleep and how these challenges impact the entire family. And I think all of us in the audience today, myself included, we've probably all experienced sleep challenges from time to time. Sometimes those are chronic, sometimes those are isolated experiences. Right now, I'm dealing with a cold, and so I've had sleep issues just because of my cold. So it's isolated, just for these last few days. But I think when it's particularly a challenge is when you have chronic sleep issues that need to be addressed. And so we all are seeking better sleep, more quality sleep, so that we can just live healthier, happier lives. So this is what we're going to explore. Dr. John, anything you would like to highlight by way of your background or personal context before we dive on in?
We are born into this world with the full of worries, right? So the common complaint I get is when people lay on their bed, they say they cannot tune their brains out, right? So the first thing we have to recognize, sleep is a superpower. We have it within
Yeah.
ourselves. But the problem is sleep problems don't hurt like a toothache, so we put it in the back burner. And like you say, work and performance. An average employee costs us about 5 grand a year because of not sleeping well. This doesn't include errors or the mood or relationship problems that most employees or people have when they don't sleep well. So I also suffered in different stages of my life with poor sleep as being in medical school and when I lost my mom and when I started
Hmm.
my own practice. So, but I've, overcome that and I have my own holistic approach, which I've been using for 25 years to help many folks. So as we go along, we'll share. The good news is people are finally realizing, hey, there's, something about the sleep in the context of, everybody talks about fitness and nutrition and diet and weight
Yeah.
loss. But we can do all that by focusing on our sleep, by sleeping a little bit better. We can be better in all aspects of our lives.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, excellent. And let's start with kind of the baseline. Maybe this is just a repeat. Maybe this is just an opportunity to remind ourselves. But for the average adult, now obviously there's outliers. Obviously, there's that random person who can function on, a few hours of sleep a night. You always hear the stories of that person who can, only get 3 or 4 hours and be fine. But, for the average normal person, the average adult, like what does a good, healthy sleep habit look like? What does good, healthy average adult need to be functioning at their peak level?
Right. So for regular, an average person needs about 7 to 8 hours of sleep. So like you said, there are a few of us who won the genetic lottery. They are short sleepers, you know? So like the classic example is Elon Musk. So the misinformation spreads everywhere, saying, hey, you need to work harder. You need to, you can burn the midnight oil. Hey, look at Elon Musk. Even Elon thought everybody's like him, so he forced all his employees, so the top ones, to exhaustion. Then he finally figured, hey, he's made difference. So he came on NBC News and said, hey, everybody needs more sleep than me. So the misinformation is a challenge. I get told all the time, hey, sleep is overrated. I can sleep when I die. To those people, I say, hey, your wish might come true if you're on this path. So. Short sleepers or people who sleep 4 hours are the exceptions, but all of us. And the most important thing is to go to bed at a fixed time, 10 p.m. to 6 a.m., that's when you need to focus. So the reason being, you get deep sleep and the quality sleep early in the night. And as the night progresses, we get more REM sleep and the day breaks and the sunlight comes in, more noise happens in with all the everything is happening. So you focus 8 hours, 10 to 6, and dedicate to sleep, and the rest of the, 16 hours, you will be in really great shape.
Yeah. Well, and even for people like Elon, like you're
Mhm.
right. Some people are made a little different, and
Mhm.
there, are some genetic differences. Some people are just built a little different, and that's just the reality. But the average person needs 7 to 8+ hours. But even people like Elon, I mean, let's get real. The
Mhm.
guy takes tons of drugs and uses tons of caffeine and that's not healthy. And some people also they supplement with other means to
Mhm.
allow them to function on little to no sleep, which nobody thinks is an actually a good idea. So, and it's not healthy, it's not sustainable. So, even someone like Elon, I would say, I'm not convinced actually that he can function on little sleep, because of all of the drug use and everything
Mhm.
else that he does to
Keep him
try to
going.
maintain the level of of productivity that he claims to have. But set that aside for a moment,
Mhm.
and just acknowledge that yeah, some people can. Now, I worked for someone once who also he claimed to be someone who could function on 4 hours of sleep, and looking back now, what I at the time I just figured, oh my gosh, this guy was amazing.
Mhm.
And he was kind of the same way. He just thought people were lazy. He thought people um, really should be more like him, and so he pushed people hard, and he pushed people to get less and
Exhaustion.
less sleep, and not to the extent that he did, but to more like even 5 6 hours he pushed as normal. But now years later, as I look back and I look at his his productivity, I look at his habits, and I look at his how he manifests throughout the day. I could easily see patterns of like where he had higher spikes of productivity and where he had lower times where he wasn't as productive. And I could see, um, things where he was dragging. And so the reality is we all do function a little bit differently. And some people who might be able to function on 4 hours of sleep, they probably also need to recharge in some ways. Maybe they need to take a nap in the afternoon, or maybe they need to do something else to be able to recharge. And so, whatever the case may be, we each need to know ourselves, we need to know our bodies, and we need to stay attuned to our bodies so that we can make sure that we're maintaining our overall health. Otherwise, if we're constantly burning the midnight oil and we're burning the candle on both ends, so to speak, it's not sustainable, and we will burn ourselves out. We will we will reap the negative health benefits or negative health outcomes of that. Like it will catch up to us. We will have physical exhaustion, we'll have mental exhaustion. Our productivity levels will go down. Like I think of my own experiences. There have been times where have I been able to get by on 3 4 5 hours of sleep continuously over an extended period? Yes, because I've been forced to, whether it's been a period of time where I have small children, or I'm going through my doctoral program, or, different things where I've been forced to, I've had to. But that said, when I compare my times of like hyper productivity, um, when I have little sleep compared to when I have regular good sleep, and it's not comparable. Like I can absolutely see a dramatic difference in terms of my own quality of thinking, my quality of creativity, my quality of innovation, my quality of just regular productivity when I'm getting good quality, consistent sleep. There's no question in my mind for myself that that is the case, even though I know that I can function on less sleep for, an extended period of time. Um, and many of us can, but we will eventually have consequences, health consequences. And I know that I will have diminishing returns in my own productivity. It just will happen.
Yeah. So the simple, question I ask people, how do you feel in the morning after like 7 or 8 hours of sleep for 2 weeks? You have to, and then if
Yeah.
you're still tired in the morning, that means either you have a significant sleep debt, or you have a
Yeah.
sleep disorder, or you have a medical condition that's not affecting medical or even psychological condition that is not helping you to sleep better. So that's a very, very easy question that I ask. So, like you said, people do, I call people who take stuff my celebrity clients. They need something to stay awake, they need something to go to sleep. Most people in the music industry and in the public eye, they are into some kind of uppers and downers to keep them going because, like for example, you take a show, like a concert, it gets over by like 11, and then they have the signing, and all that 12, 1, and they have to get ready to move to the next venue. So they are always on the move. So they have to sleep when they have to. They wake up. So it's a challenge, but it is not sustainable for a long periods of time. So my what I talk about is a holistic way to harness your own. We have enough stimulants and also with the stuff to put us to sleep. So that's the best way for long term. It's okay to take a little bit medications and uppers and downers, whatever, for short periods of time. So like as if you have grief or if you lost a job, if you have a tragedy, you can't sleep. It's a natural process. So I only recommend medications for short periods of time. Other than that, we have to find our own way, and that's why we'll discuss shortly when we get to that.
Yeah, yeah. So let's get there. Let's talk about ways that we can improve our sleep, natural ways that we can get there. And you've already identified just kind of that natural REM cycle, the natural kind of time frame that we should shoot for. And that's not always feasible. Sometimes we have to work late. Sometimes we have small children who are sick. Like there's all sorts of reasons why that 10 to 6 time frame doesn't work, right?
Yeah.
And sometimes people have night shifts or whatever our life circumstances may be, might not be ideal. We might not be able to fit, that ideal. Um, but when we can, and it's, not just a life choice, and it's not just me wanting to stay up to play video games or to watch a show or something, or to scroll on my phone, but I can make a choice to like go to bed a little bit earlier or try to have like good quality consolidated sleep. Like what are some things that I can do to start to have better consistent quality sleep?
Okay.
Uh, in besides just some of the medications that you can take.
So, the hustle culture and sleep are totally in the opposite spectrum. When you hustle, 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 we think sleep also can be, we can hustle our way into sleep. But unfortunately, sleep is an art. It's an ancient form. It's set in its ways. So it's just the it's just the total opposite. So we want sleep to be like an on and off switch, but it doesn't happen. You have to work yourself, slowly into that. So I have an acronym for people to follow. It's called Sleep Now, SLEEPNOW. So this is how we're going to go about it. So number one in the S is schedule. So for anything to succeed, we have to have a plan and a schedule. So we focused on the 10 p.m. To 6 a.m. as much as possible. That should be your core. Some days we stay up, some days we can't sleep. That's okay, but that should be a core for many reasons. The sleep, we wish it's a sleep like a sleep wake. If you look at the sleep cycles and stages, there are many stages and cycles. That we enter sleep through non-REM sleep, and then REM sleep comes later, and within in non-REM sleep, there's like three other stages. So the cycles happen every 90 minutes. So we are also vulnerable to when the cycles and stages shift, we are likely to wake up. So the reason 10 to 6 is because the good sleep happens early in the night. So that's the S, the schedule. The next is important. The L is low light, low noise, low temperature, because the hormone that helps us to sleep, the most potent one is melatonin. We are a melatonin factory. We have so much melatonin. It's only secreted in darkness and colder temperatures. So, and make sure your, thermostat is set between 65 to 70. Experiment that. And also having it, darkness. The word mela means darkness. So have your bedroom cool. And of course, noise affects, your brain waves, and then you can't sleep. So those are that's the L in the acronym. Then the next is a big one, electronics, right? So we are all creatures of our habit. We have brought our electronics into our bedroom, but unfortunately, the light emitting, even whatever kind of filters you have, there's a light that goes into your brain and says, "Hey, you need to wake up," or it's not still. And it's still daytime, so that's a wrong signal it's sending to the brain. Remember, I told you melatonin is only secreted in darkness. So this light from the phone, and also the phone comes with text messages, answers, email, and even in the middle of the night when you wake up, if your phone is closed or your watch is
Yeah.
closed, you're going to look at the time, and then you're like, "Wow, it's 3 o'clock. Wow, it's only 3 o'clock." So I keep my bedroom a gadget-free zone for many reasons. I set an alarm for the time I have to wake up, and I keep it next, not next to me, but closer to me in my bathroom. So literally, I have to walk there, and I know it's
Uh-huh.
whatever 6:30 to wake up. So that's the E. The next E is exercise. The exercise generates heat and also endorphins. So what happens? Heat's not good for you to sleep. The melatonin peaks. When the core body temperature drops. So if you're going to exercise, try to exercise at least 3-4 hours prior to going to sleep. The ideal time to exercise is probably in the morning. So generation of heat, and this is how you are giving your body a chance to rest. And so that's the SLEE. P is powering off your mind. Remember, you can't power off your mind if you don't give it a chance. So you don't have your
Uh-huh.
phone next to you, you're not exercising. So I teach two techniques for people to power off their mind. One is the yoga nidra, where you lay on your back with your palms up, looking at your ceiling and thinking about thoughts like a body scan. This is the cognitive behavioral therapy for insomnia. You just scan from your face down, neck, chest, all the way down. So that's how it's like a body scan, helps you to relax a little bit. So that's a very powerful technique. You can also combine the breathing technique, Andrew Weil as a technique. Breathe in 4 times, and inhale, exhale, just kind of puts you in this mood. And the second technique, this is all my unique techniques that I have incorporated over with 25 years of my experience, is vivid imagination. I've been using this for 25, 30 years myself. So when I lay in bed, I'm not thinking about the reality. I don't think about the bills or the employees or the conflicts. I'm thinking about the last show I saw. I become the director of that show, and I go into my abstract. Within like 2, 3, minutes into it, I'm falling asleep. So that's how you power off your mind. The next is the word NO. That's no. So in my Sleep Now acronym, NO, no to worries. We all worry. I tell people to take a dedicated worrying time, 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. When you're preparing. So it's preparation for bedtime is like preparing, enjoying like a 5-course meal. You have to slowly work it. So you can't just go to 10 o'clock and bring your worries. So even yesterday, I was looking at the time, making sure we are in the same time zone. So that's what I did. And if I don't resolve anything, I write it down for the next day. So we're all born to worry as humans, but I tell people to take a dedicated worrying time. So 6 p.m. and 8 p.m. And the last now in the Sleep Now acronym is win. See, in the hustle culture, we hustle, win, win. Here, winning is actually losing yourself to sleep. So it's just a total opposite of everything that we talk about. So the three big things that I am promoting is scheduled worrying time. That's new. Most people have not heard about that. And then the gadget free zone. not even have phones around you, and then the vivid imagination technique to sleep. So sleep now, SLEEPNOW, schedule, low light, low noise, low temperature, no to electronics, at least 30 minutes, and keep it a gadget-free zone. Then do not exercise at least three hours prior. Powering off your mind, the two techniques, vivid imagination and yoga nidra. NO is no to worries, and W is win. So this is my mantra. I've helped thousands of folks. I also mentioned that in my book. This is what everybody comes in my office, because I do it, and that's how I help many, many people.
Awesome. Awesome. And yeah, it seems so simple,
Yes.
yet it's so hard
Mhm.
because it takes consistency and
Correct.
effort. And I think even like the gadget free zone piece that you mentioned, like
Mhm.
it's just so hard when,
Yes.
especially if you're not sleeping well, if you wake up and you're just laying there and you have stuff churning in your head and it's just so tempting to just like pick
Mhm.
up your phone and just start like looking at emails or just start scrolling on social media or something. But that's the kiss of death. If you start
Yeah.
doing that, there's no
Mhm.
way you're getting back to sleep, right?
That's right.
And so, like, in part, we have to like train ourselves, especially if you have those bad habits. You really do have to start training yourself. And so, if that means leaving your devices outside of your room, charging your phone in your bathroom, leaving it outside your bedroom, keeping it away from arm's length, um, you know, I have a clock on my bedside so that I don't have to check my phone, to know what time it is if I happen to wake up in the middle of the night for that very reason, because I know that if I yield to that kind of temptation, that I lose the opportunity to regain that sleep, to fall back asleep. Um, there's just so many possibilities to trip up, especially if you have stressors going on in your life, if you have different things that are going to make it even harder. There's so many ways to trip up, and so you just want to give yourself as much opportunity to have good, successful, sustained sleep, and it just requires those consistent steps. Nothing, there's no rocket science there. Like
Right.
it's nothing terribly complex, but you just have to be committed, consistent, and if you can do that, you'll find greater success. Now, that's not to say that there aren't other legitimate health issues sometimes. Sometimes there's sleep disorders.
Mhm.
Sometimes there's mental health issues that need to be addressed. Those are different, and those are, in another category. And if you have those issues, those need to also be acknowledged and addressed. And so, we also want to make sure that people recognize that also. But for if we're just talking about someone who kind of just is dealing with normal sleep challenges that everyday people are dealing with, then I think what you're suggesting is absolutely the types of things we need to be doing. And once we do those, we're going to see dramatic differences in our daily lives in terms of our energy levels, our moods, our abilities our ability to interact with people in more positive ways, our productivity levels, our just energy flow, our ability to just um, function at a higher level more consistently. That's been one of the biggest things I've noticed for myself is just not only am I able to function throughout the day better generally, but just at a cognitively higher level throughout the day better, which is, super valuable, of course. So, well, Dr. John, this has just been a great conversation. I know at the time and I need to let you go, but before we part ways for today, I wanted to give you a chance to share with the audience how they can connect with you, find out more about your work, and then give us the final word for today.
Yes, I mean, once you recognize like the extra 30 minutes or an hour you sleep, if you focus on, you will gain it multifold during the day, right? So
Yeah.
that's the message. So sleep is our superpower. So what did I do? I've dedicated my life to this, spreading this message. So I wrote a book called Nobody's Sleeping: The Seven Proven Sleep Strategies, and I talk about, different. I have many chapters for each, some, mental health, weight loss, and of course the 7 strategies. I have a chapter dedicated for women and for children and teenagers and older adults because there's no comprehensive book. So I said I'll write the book for the whole family. So that's it's doing really well. It's got over 100 reviews on Amazon. So I'm very happy and proud because only like 1 to 2% of the books get this many reviews in the first year. So I'm happy. So that's the called, Nobody's Sleeping, the 7 proven sleep strategies is available everywhere. And plus my website is called sleepfixacademy.com, where I have a sleep course dedicated for people who can see their doctors. It takes time to see a provider. So I have a self-help. It's actually a 6 weeks course. You can finish it in about 70 to 80 minutes. You can finish it fast and implement. So to change direction, it will take about 6 weeks of practice, and for a lifelong of happiness, I think it's well worth it. And I'm
Yeah.
a participant so in many TV shows and also podcasts. So, and in the social media, I'm known as Dr. Sleep Fix. So you can follow me on Instagram, Facebook, and also LinkedIn. So I'm everywhere. So you know what? So the message is I want everybody to know this beautiful thing that we have. It's free. It's within us. It takes a little bit of discipline, and you can hustle. You can data mine your way into sleep. People get all kind of gadgets and all that. That's going to create more sleep anxiety. It's natural. It's simple. It's possible. We can do it. So I want everybody to sleep well and be well, so the world can be a much, much better place.
Wonderful, wonderful. Thank you so much. It's been a real pleasure. I encourage the audience to reach out, get connected, find out more about what Dr. John can do for you. And as always, I hope everyone can stay healthy and safe, that you can find meaning and purpose at work each and every day. And I hope you all have a great week.